LaunchCode's a nonprofit, and our mission is to help people from diverse backgrounds start careers in technology. We do that by providing free coding education and then working with those individuals who go through our programs and with employers to place those individuals into software development apprenticeships. So our normal class runs for 20 weeks part-time. So that's the boot camp program. We call it LC 101.
Details as to where in your code the exception occurs.
We have a particular emphasis on giving access to people coming from underrepresented backgrounds in terms of those underrepresented in technology employment.
I think LaunchCode is such a blessing because I looked at other programs and the cost was like $10,000 and there was no way that I could afford that. So I was very excited there was going to be a session starting soon.
So some of our funding comes through grants, whether it's federal or state level grants, but then we also generate revenue when we place our graduates with our employer partners. When someone finishes those first 20 weeks, some students will be able to place them into an apprenticeship with our employer partners. And then for some students, they'll continue to work to hone both their technical and their soft skills, and we support them through that process as they're building out their interviewing skills, building out a portfolio of work that they can use to demo to employers.
That's why I'm taking LaunchCode, to get me prepared for those interviews and jobs. After LaunchCode, I'm thinking about getting a job, my first job of programming. My goal is to be a application developer.
So in terms of barrier to access or making it accessible, the fact that it's free is a huge component of that.
Part of the reason why I jumped into the LaunchCode program, because at that time my working part-time and my husband was out of a job, and I wanted to be able to give myself an extra skill with a coding background I felt would have been really helpful going forward with medicine. But I just fell in love with coding and ended up here at Watsco because of LaunchCode and what they provided for me.
So LaSaly did one of our classes over a year ago now, and she just has a magnetic personality from the moment you meet her. Her background prior to taking a LaunchCode class was that she was in the medical field. She decided that ultimately she was more curious about the technology world, and not only did she excel, she was the kind of person who always looked to support those who were around her in the class. So when we were looking at who to match to this particular opportunity we had with Watsco, it's a role that sort of interfaces between developers and clients, and we knew that LaSaly had sort of the right blend of technical and people skills to just knock it out of the park with that role.
My name is LaSaly CHANGKACHITH, and I am the Customer Success Associate here at Watsco for the Mobile Apps Development Team. I'm not an apprentice. Actually, Watsco has hired me full-time, so I have been matriculated out of the apprentice program. I think continuing my education, continuing to develop and to grow was motivated by my children because I wanted them to see that a value that we have as a family is like continue to grow in some form or another.
She took to the platform, she took to the customers quickly. She's picked up more responsibility as time's gone by. My name's Tom Cavan, I'm the Director of Leadership Development at Watsco. We have as much or more success with programs like LaunchCode as we do through working with traditional recruiting firms.
Employers are more and more willing to hire based on portfolios and showing what you know, rather than having a piece of paper that says, I did course X. And so in that 20-week time span, it might be hard to believe, but you can acquire the foundational skills that will enable you to go into a work environment and learn on the job, and in a relatively short amount of time become a productive member of a software development team.
I didn't think I could change my life that quickly.
What we see is the students who graduate our program and get placed into the jobs with our employer partners make an average salary of around $50,000 a year. So effectively, they're 3xing their salary in some cases.
Programs like LaunchCode have been fantastic at bringing in some of the tech talent we need.
Primarily, I am helping the mobile apps development team test the app, as well as evaluating the developer's code and testing the software to make sure that it's working. And then I will let the developers know, or my project lead know, what the issues are. LaunchCode provided me with the ability to be able to speak the tech language, as well as the knowledge to look at the code that I am presented, and to be able to take that information and be able to communicate with my team members. If I didn't have that skill, I don't think that I would be here.
American Graduate Getting to Work is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.